Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. We've made it. It's the last NFL Pick'em stream of the year. We've got lots of good shit happening today. We're going to see who can get a perfect week, hopefully this week in week 18, even though it's going to be absolutely insane. We're going to bring in the boys here. Boys, hello.
Hey.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing real good.
That's what I like to hear. What a week we had here. Yeah, imagine flipping scenes. I clicked the wrong button. All right, the NFL stream. The NFL stream is right around the same spot on my OBS. So I clicked the wrong one. I wasn't in studio mode, so I didn't get the transition button. You know,
as a professional streamer, I think you should have this set up and stuff.
Yeah, come on.
As a professional streamer, you need to gift me a lot more subs if you want me to click the right buttons.
I would agree with that, and everyone else in chat, you heard the man.
Also, if enough subs get gifted, I can hire somebody to click the buttons for me.
True.
Then I don't have to do any of this shit myself.
Yeah.
And we can get, not a spreadsheet. We won't have actually, we'll probably keep the NFL Blitz background just because that's pretty awesome here. But we could get something a little nicer than a Google Doc or a Google Sheets form.
That's true. It's true.
But it has been effective. It's great for tracking things like this. As you can see, there's a lot of green this week, or this past week.
Yes.
I went 14-2. I based on how things went, I was very close to a perfect week.
You were. I mean, Kansas City should have won that game.
But also, that's what you mean. But do you also think you would have ever picked Cincinnati or Las Vegas?
No, I'm just I didn't miss any weirdo games,
Gotcha. Yeah.
Both games were really close. They weren't super upset, they could have gone either way. So I'm actually pretty happy with how the week went. Unfortunately, it wasn't a 16-0, but Derek at 11-5, respectable. Bryce at 13-3, very, very respectable. But I have now pulled even in wins with locks.
I shouldn't have picked Detroit, because then I wouldn't have that loss, and I'd be up one game on you.
Yep. Yep, we'd have the same amount of losses, and you'd be up one with the locks. But you keep putting your faith in the Lions. We'll see if that trend continues this week.
I think this week, though, is a bit of it's just not the whole season. This week, who knows what could happen.
Right. This is why fantasy leagues stop in week 17. Or 1 week before the last week of the year, because this is the first year we've had week 18.
True.
Because who wants to have their best players sitting in week 18 or only playing a half or whatnot, and tuning up and then resting for the playoffs? Speaking of, congratulations, Derek, on is this your first fantasy football championship ever?
This is my first ever. I got the background showing that I'm the fantasy football league champion. I have been in this league for about 8 years. I've never once made the playoffs. Made playoffs this year, just cruised on through to the finals. And I don't want to break your layout, but if you switch to one of your other scenes, I did send you an image of the final score to show the people that I only won by 2 fucking points. It was 105-107, or sorry, 107-105. Said that backwards. Going into that game, I had a conundrum because I needed to pick some people up off the waivers for my running back spot. I ended up picking up Sony Michael, that's the guy. Sony Michael, Mr. PlayStation, Chase Edmonds, Rashad Penny, and I needed a wide receiver too, so I picked up Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And the whole week I was just like, who the fuck do I play? Because there were too many options. And you know what I did? I didn't play Rashad Penny, and he put up 32 points on my bench.
I did steer you a little wrong there, but I still expect my check in the mail for the rest of the season's worth of advice. That
here's the thing, I got really lucky, right? Like, my team didn't score that much. Like, I thought Cooper was gonna go off a little bit. He really didn't, but he did get a touchdown. So he still had a 20-point game. I ended up going into Sunday with a 107-71 lead. The only reason he had 71 points was because he benched fucking Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase put up 56 points on his bench.
Yep, that guy not feeling great.
That is
we will talk about him more later.
I think that is the best outcome I could have had to winning that. Like, even if I played everyone that was on my bench that put up the most points, because I also benched Lazard and he put up 20. Marquez Valdez-Scantling put up 1. So that was a good choice by me. But even with a 1 point from him, 0 points from the Dolphins defense, him benching Jamar Chase gave me the win. Like, if he didn't do that, I lost. Right?
Yeah. What you're saying is
we wouldn't be having this conversation.
You played excellent fantasy defense.
Yeah, you couldn't have played any better.
No.
What's up, Pig?
It's good.
All good, man. I appreciate you tuning in.
Feels good to be a part of the Champions Club now.
Champions Club, yeah.
Before we move on, I just want to say I think we have a profession here, because a lot of the professional pickers are not as good as what we've been.
No.
And I mean, we started in week 9 though, so like it could be different, because those first couple of weeks obviously are a little hard to pick.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely see how it's going to be next year when we're picking from
week
1 to week 18.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we did half the week. We started in week 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So half the season.
I mean, even then, like, we're still like our win loss is crazy. Like, if I compare that to like Sportsline, their main dude was 155 and 98. So
yeah, probably on pace for about the same. So
yeah.
Anything else from week 17? I did not win any fantasy championships, by the way. I took a second, 3/3, and a last. So
Damn.
Like just a straight up last.
Well, see, you didn't need to tell everybody that.
It's important. It's important to have accountability. That you can't get them all right.
Look, I wasn't in any fantasy football leagues. Well, I mean, I guess I was not in legit ones like you guys, but I was in the Guillotine League, which I think we should all do next year because that was a lot of fun. I made it to like week 5, and then got cut. And then, what else were we in?
We did all the best ball leagues.
The best ball leagues.
Yeah.
I think like half my team's on IR, so that's cool. But yeah, moving on.
Yeah, I don't think there was really anything crazy last week. The games that, I mean, I guess the Detroit picks were a little sus by you guys here. That's really the only pick, though, that I guess I hard disagree with. I could have seen any of the other games kind of going either way for the ones that we either won or lost. But I think this is the first time all year that we haven't all lost a game. Like, there's been one game every week that we've all picked that we all lost. And I think this is the first week that has not happened. So we're learning, we're growing. We go
week 14.
Week 14?
Yeah.
Okay.
Week 14.
We're still growing and learning. Either way. All right, you guys ready to get to it? Let's start doing our week 18 picks. All right. We have 2 Saturday games this week. KC at Denver and Dallas at Philly. Both games kind of have some playoff sort of implications. So we'll start here. KC visiting Denver. KC currently 10-point favorite. Full disclaimer, I put all these numbers in yesterday before a lot of the teams announced players being out or in. So a lot of these lines and over-unders have changed. So keep that in mind while you're watching. So KC, 10-point favorite. Denver, never a fun place to play for really anybody. The air up there, it's thinner. Can't breathe, but you are faster and lighter. So could be an advantage for Tyreek, who has not looked great the last few games, but he's still Tyreek. The Broncos are starting Drew Lock again, most likely, which they may just be packing it in here, letting Javonte possibly rest. I don't know why they would have any interest in throwing him out there and getting him hurt, since he's the future in the backfield, as well as their receiving core is very good. So probably want to keep that healthy. KC needs to win to keep that first round bye in place and at least have a few home games, at least 2 throughout the playoffs. So they should be playing their starters for the majority of the game, especially if it becomes a blowout late. You'll see like Mahomes and them rest. But as Cheat said earlier, Chiefs easy lock. I will be taking the Chiefs here in a win on the road in Denver.
Yeah, I mean, this one's a bit short. Denver's just looked not great, and like you said, they're probably fully checked out at this point. So I will also be taking KC.
Like it.
I'll be doing the same thing as you guys, taking KC. They need to win to possibly get the number 1 seed. Obviously need Tennessee to lose. But anything is possible in week 18. Taking Kansas City.
Quick, easy, I like it. Next, America's team, the boys, visiting Philly. As I so correctly and smartly predicted last week, they lost to Philly at home, or not Philly, they lost to Arizona at home because Kyler undefeated in AT&T Stadium. That is the only stat that mattered. The only one that mattered last week. And I still think that they have a problem when Zeke clearly isn't healthy. No running backs are looking good when they're wearing a knee brace, right? Like it's not great. Both of these teams have locked up playoff positions, and nothing for the Eagles really changes no matter what happens. The Cowboys, there's some seeding that can happen if they win or lose. So I believe both teams will probably be playing their starters most of the game. However, I
disagree with that. I feel like the Eagles probably won't, because they like both teams have a reason to rest their main players, but Philadelphia doesn't have as much of a reason to over Dallas. Or sorry, opposite. They have more of a reason to rest their best players because they will enter, I think, as well, like the 6th or the 7th seed, but there's nothing that they can do to change that.
Right, they can't win the division.
On other games.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's more of a reason that they're just going to be like, all right, we'll rest everybody up. Like, Hurts has been hurt, so he's probably going to not. Like, I imagine he maybe gets the start, but doesn't see it through.
Yeah, as of right now, I do believe everybody is playing. They do have some guys on the COVID list: Goddard, Kelsey, Jordan Howard. So they've got that running through them right now. Micah Parsons is on the COVID list for Dallas, so we'll see if he clears. I didn't read if he was vaccinated or not and what that would mean for him clearing before Saturday, because it is on a Saturday. I want to take the home team in Philly here, actually. We've had some success taking the Birds here lately. They've won 4 straight. We did talk about it a little bit the last few weeks. They haven't really played anybody recently. The Jets, Washington, and the Giants. The Cowboys have looked bad against good teams. I really want to take the Birds at home, but I think that Dallas wants to try to play for that potential home field for 2 games in the playoffs. So they do need some help for that to happen, but I will be taking the boys here.
Yeah, I was kind of in agreement. I'm really only making this pick based off of the fact that the Eagles, I think, in theory, should be sitting a lot of their players, or at least some of their studs.
They may not have a choice if COVID keeps ravaging them.
That's true. Yeah. So I will also be picking Dallas, unfortunately.
I know, it always feels so bad.
So this is another one of those games. It's at the end of the season. They're both in the playoffs. Obviously, the Cowboys have better shot, are the better team. But they have the possibility of facing the Cardinals again, and then they might have to play the Eagles 2 weekends in a row. So I don't know. They, like you said with Zeke, he didn't look like himself and everything. It's weird. Dallas will show up and like just be unstoppable, right? And then all of a sudden they can't score.
Yeah.
Even though with that said, the Eagles aren't very good. They haven't played anybody.
I mean, it was earlier in the year, but they did hang 41 on the Eagles in week 3.
Yeah. I think the Eagles can win this game, but I'm going to take Dallas.
All right.
I just don't trust the Eagles.
So we're getting both of these games wrong. Got it.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next one, I want to that the NFL is actually currently looking into changing the location of the Super Bowl because California just extended their indoor mask mandate to February 15th. So they want to apparently just change the stadium.
I thought that they came out and then LA was moving it to the day before Super Bowl, so then they could have it still.
I'm not sure.
I'm
only seeing this article now, and this was posted 3 hours ago. So
the Super Bowl, wasn't it supposed to be the 13th?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Correct.
Yeah, the 13th. So I guess the mask mandate technically would extend 2 days past the Super Bowl.
Their announcement was that they have contacted several clubs to inquire about stadium availability in the event that we cannot play the Super Bowl as scheduled due to weather-related issues.
That's definitely
in the middle of February in Southern California.
Oh yeah, that weather-related issue. They'll blame it on like the fires or something.
Yeah.
That are going on in Denver. They're blowing back west. All right. In what I think is going to be an interesting game here, the Packers visiting Detroit. Neither team has anything to play for. Packers already locked up the 1 seed and home field through the playoffs. Obviously, Detroit at 2-13-1 is well out of the playoffs. It has not officially been announced that Rodgers isn't playing. Even if he does, he's probably only going to play a series or two. They really have no reason to get the MVP of the league hurt. I also don't see Devontae playing very much of this game, or A.J. Dillon, or Aaron Jones, or really any of the defense. I believe as of right now, it's going to be Tim Boyle again at quarterback. That is, I haven't seen officially if Goff is going to come back. Tim Boyle actually hasn't looked terrible. He's been serviceable enough. He can put up some points, and Amon-Ra St. Brown looks great for a 4th-round rookie. Like, that generally doesn't happen in rookie years with 4th-rounders. There's some weird stat about how, like, in fantasy, none of them have ever finished as like a top 36 option in their rookie year, which is kind of crazy. A couple guys out on the COVID list. Nothing. Jair Alexander's a big hit for the Packers, but nothing that really would change what the Packers would probably do in terms of resting guys. So I don't think that matters so much. This line also has moved from Packers -11 to Packers Packers minus like 4.5 now. So it moved back up after posting this, but I think I am going to take the Lions here because I don't think Jordan Love is any good. So
I don't think Jordan Love's any good either, but I feel like I have to make this pick under the assumption that Rodgers will start, because I feel like they would have said something by now. So I'm taking Green Bay, because if Rodgers starts, he's probably going to put a lead up early, and then they'll pull him out, and their defense should be able to handle the rest.
Vegas always knows something before everybody else does, and the line moving essentially like 12 points means that they know something, I feel like.
So the thing is that Aaron Rodgers and Devontae said they want to play a little bit for this game. But is it enough to be like, oh, we scored 14 points? But also, they score 14 points and then Jordan Love comes in. Man, I know I feel like I shouldn't take Detroit anymore in my life. But
you guys can afford to.
I think, yeah, we're doing it.
I like it. Lock in.
My only thing is, like, I don't know, like, Detroit's defense is just so bad that even if it were playing a purely backup Green Bay team, they would still lose.
You're right. But they also whooped up on Arizona, so
that's the thing I don't understand, is that they were good for Arizona, but they were bad for Seattle. Like, Seattle's way worse than Arizona right now.
This is why the NFL is the best. Any given week, any team can win, especially when Jordan Love is on the other side.
So, we got Chicago and Minnesota here up next, and I know, Bryce, you're dying to talk about it, but I wanted to say real quick, just like, you're gonna get into your whole spiel about like why we should be picking the Bears because they looked incredible last week, and they're the best football team you've ever seen.
I am not drinking that Kool-Aid.
When asked about his motivation in a meaningless game, Dalvin Cook stood up, showed the reporter a tattoo of his late father, and then walked off the interview. So under that alone, I'm taking Minnesota.
I like it. Go ahead, Bryce. Say your piece on your team.
The only thing I really have to say is, like, I mean, it's been a forgetful year for the Bears. Matt Nagy hasn't been able to tell or do what he said he would do with an offense that's supposed to be really good, coming from Andy Reid in Kansas City.
An offense in which he did not call the plays, by the way.
Right. He supposedly another leak came out that he will be let go on Monday after this game, and so obviously the reporters talked to him and said, and he, basically said, I didn't hear anything. So just another fiasco going on in the organization. And with that said, I'm taking the Bears.
Are you serious? Taking the Bears on the road in Minnesota.
That's lock too. That's crazy.
I think every team looks really good against the Giants this year, so I really don't have much to say.
This has nothing to do with that game last week. You just
got a gut feeling.
Yeah, I don't like Minnesota. I don't like Kirk Cousins.
I don't either, but he is going to be back for this game. Yeah. And I know in the last game against all the Bears backups, the Bears somehow contained Justin Jefferson, but that was in Chicago. This is in the Dome in Minnesota. I don't think they're going to have the speed at corner to keep up with him. And if Dalvin Cook's showing off tattoos of his late father in a interview, he's about to run for 250 and like 4 scores. He's about to.
You know what's funny? Every time we say that, they don't do it. So I think my pick is looking good.
All right. Well, picking back-to-back NFC North games with teams not named the Packers is just miserable. By the way, like they're such a bad division, just like the East. It's such a bad division.
Get to picking Jacksonville.
Yeah. All right. Indy visiting Jacksonville. Indy massive favorite at 15.5. They have a lot to play for. They want to win and have the Chiefs lose. And then I believe there's some like weird tiebreaker that can happen with them. Or not the Chiefs. Who are they chasing?
Tennessee.
Oh no, they need to win because if the Chargers, if they lose, they're out. They need to win and be in because the Chargers or Vegas will get in if they lose.
I'm just gonna say this now. I'm not taking Jacksonville.
No.
I could see this blowing it up and they losing just because that's what the NFL's been this year.
Well, I before we started the show, I gave you guys that stat that Indy hadn't won in Jacksonville since like 2014 or 2015. It's been a long time. But Jonathan Taylor is probably too good for Jacksonville to stop, to be honest. So I don't really see them having a problem getting through them. They beat them in Indy earlier this year, 23-17, probably a little closer than that game should have been. 15.5 is a lot of points, but Jacksonville has looked awful. Coming off a 40-point blowout, though, maybe they keep it a little close. They got a little embarrassed, so maybe they'll come out with a little bit of fire, but this is a team that's fully packed it in. They're on their coaching search already for, apparently Bill O'Brien is a candidate for them, which
no.
Why would anybody want Bill O'Brien to be part of their organization at this point? But
I'm not familiar.
He was the old Texans coach during the Watson years, but who just mismanaged that team multiple.
Right.
Like they should have been a lot better than they were. So yeah, I think as scary as this game could be, I mean, it's Indy has their fate in their hands. All they need to do is turn around, give the ball to Jonathan Taylor 25 times, and they should be good. I see both of you guys also taking Indy. Anything else you would like to say?
A straight Indy pick.
Yeah.
No. No, not really.
All right.
I'm gonna be honest.
Bryce?
Go Jonathan Taylor?
Go Jonathan Taylor. If you're still playing in your fantasy football playoffs for some reason, hopefully you have Jonathan Taylor on your team because Jacksonville is very bad.
Yeah.
All right. Next game. Also, there's a lot of road favorites this week. It's very weird. The schedule, the way that it played out, very, very odd with all of these road favorites this week. All right. Tennessee visiting Houston. Tennessee giving 10.5. Houston's in shambles. Tennessee somehow still looks good. Some without Derrick Henry. They're able to actually run the ball. They are going to potentially, not for this game, but I believe for the playoffs.
I thought I saw, you know what, he was designated to return.
Yeah, they opened up his return window, so they have basically 3 weeks for him to come back. I don't think it'd be smart. They don't need him to play, right? Like, they just lock up, I believe they lock up the number 1 overall if they win because they own the tiebreaker against the Chiefs. So they are playing for home field through the entire playoffs, and we slandered them in the middle of the season when they lost to Houston and the Patriots, but they've come back strong and they actually look pretty decent, especially with AJ Brown and Julio in the lineup. And they put a beating down on Miami last week, so they might be a sneaky playoff team. So I will be taking the Texans here, or the Texans, Jesus. I will be taking the Titans here.
I will also be taking Tennessee for this one.
Titans.
I'm going to take the Titans, but I will be taking Houston to cover.
Yeah, I could see that. You going to also take the Jags to cover?
No.
Parlay that together?
Maybe. Okay, fine.
Maybe.
Put 50 cents on it.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Another shit game. Washington visiting the Giants. Somehow Washington giving 6.5. I really don't want to talk about this game, even though it's my Giants. They are awful. Mike Glennon sucks. Jake Fromm sucks. They have no playmakers on this team whatsoever. This is an easy Washington pick. I don't know if there's 38 might be a high total for this game, to be honest. So
I was just reading a stat that it's been 5 years since the Giants have had a winning record. It has been 5 years since they have been over 500. They have never been over 500 in any of the weeks.
Do you remember
in the last 5 years?
That was the last time that they were any sort of good was when they went to the playoffs against the Packers. They took that stupid boat picture, and ever since then,
boat picture. Yep.
They can't win. They're terrible.
That was the original the Jaguars having the we don't want just one tweet or whatever.
Or one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Washington football team. They helped me out in the beginning of the year, so I'm going to give them a little faith here. They're playing a terrible team in the Giants, unfortunately.
Also, I don't know if you guys saw, I believe they've picked their name, but they haven't announced it yet. If you go to WashingtonAdmirals.com, it redirects to the Washington football team website.
Well, there was also people aren't sure if this is like a ruse because they also copyrighted Washington Groundhogs.
There's no way. There's no way. That would be amazing, but there's no way.
Wow, the Washington Groundhogs. Wow.
Can Bill Murray be their mascot?
A couple weeks ago.
Could they get Bill Murray?
They would just have Groundhog Day playing.
Don't we find out? It's the 17th. Did they say? When are we finding out?
Yeah, I think it's after the season. It's after the regular season. The Super Bowl? Maybe it is. I don't know. I think the NFL likes to
before the Super Bowl. I don't remember.
I think they either want them to do it early or after because they don't want to distract from like the playoffs and stuff.
Right.
I just want to throw this out there. I know we all picked the Washington football team as we should, but since the Giants played Tampa, here are their point totals. This is in the Tampa game. 10, 13, 9, 21. Oh, we had a little explosion there. 6, 10, and 3. That is the Giants' offensive output, and they fired Jason Garrett because he was terrible, and they've only gotten worse since then.
Mm-hmm.
It's miserable. It's more miserable being a Giants fan than being a Bears fan, I think. At least you guys have Justin Fields.
Yeah, I think it's just hard because we have talent, right? But we just have these terrible coaches, this terrible front office, and it's pathetic.
Yep. I mean, both teams are talent deprived. Like, don't get it twisted. The Bears are still not a great team, but they could be a 500 team with a good coaching staff.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Pitt visiting Baltimore. Big Ben went out at home against the Browns. Got to ride his horse into the sunset. Actually looked kind of decent for a lot of that game. The Ravens
46 passes. Is that what I saw? Was it 46 or 26?
He was just
like 40.
I knew he was going to sling it. I knew it. It's like in Rookie of the Year, Chet Steadman goes out, throws the last few pitches he's got left in his arm before the kid comes in and strikes the guy out with the floater. But and they still have a shot at no shot. You picked Detroit. Matt, I did pick Detroit. I did it.
I did it too. Yeah. Unfortunately,
the Steelers still have an outside shot of making the playoffs because of their tie, but I don't know if they go into Baltimore and get a win here. Baltimore, they've let me down. They've lost 5 straight, and I keep picking them because I'm an idiot. But the Steelers are also really bad. So Baltimore at home, they're not really playing for anything, but they're still probably going to be playing their starters to play spoiler just to really bury the Steelers so there's no shot. So I will follow Vegas lines here, and I will take Baltimore at home to get a win.
I'm going to do the opposite because, they looked great. I think Ben wants to try and push it as far as he can one last time. Like you said, Ravens don't really have anything to play for. So I think this one's going to be an incredibly close game, and it probably ends with like a Pittsburgh field goal.
On the leg of Chris Boswell.
Yeah.
So, I do agree with that, but I think you have the wrong kicker that's going to win the game for the team. So I'm taking Baltimore. I think they actually win a close game and send Big Ben home without a playoff appearance.
Imagine for a second. Take the Bengals game out. Imagine if John Harbaugh would kick field goals instead of going for it in the red zone.
Well, that's 2 wins, right? Or it'd be overtime, so we don't know if they would have won.
Well, not the extra point where they went for 2. He kept opting out of field goals in those games too.
Yeah, he was trying to go for it on 4th, like so much.
Like the Packers game, they lose by 1, but he went for it in the red zone like 3 times. So It's just been kind of odd coaching. I get being aggressive and stuff, but also Huntley is a very serviceable NFL quarterback. I don't know what his contract looks like, but I bet he lands somewhere and gets a starting gig
solid.
somewhere.
He's been. I think he looks better than.
He might be better than Lamar, Matt. He throws a nice ball. And Lamar can't stay healthy all of a sudden, so we'll see what happens going forward. Maybe they just hang on to Huntley and give Lamar the boot. All right, the Bengals. Man, Jamar Chase won a lot of people fantasy championships last week. A lot.
Ours.
The Joey Bees, baby.
Joey Bees. They got it done against KC. They lock up the North. The Browns coming off a very disappointing loss to the corpse of Big Ben. But no Joe Burrow. We have Brandon Allen starting, which also probably means they're sitting the rest of their starters, because if you're going to sit Burrow, why in the world would you be starting Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Mixon and Tyler Boyd, and the list goes on. So
on and on.
The Browns at home, I think Baker's going to want to play. Chase has COVID. Oh, I didn't even see that. No Chase, no matter what.
Oh, all right. Well,
I think Baker wants to show a little something to close the year, as he's been
playing.
He's not playing either. When did that get announced?
I thought it was today.
I don't even see that.
Yeah, what?
I'm pretty sure I thought they were. Is Baker?
Oh, to have shoulder surgery ASAP. Will not play Sunday. Well,
Mixon has COVID.
Okay.
Mixon has COVID, not Chase.
Oh,
I don't think Chase is playing
so
anyway.
Who's
who do you like better, Case Keenum or Brandon Allen? I'm gonna go with the home team. I'm just gonna take Cleveland. I like Case Keenum better than Baker. I'm just gonna say it. We're going for the home team here. Also, Brandon Allen's terrible. So this game's impossible to pick, though. This is like a couple weeks ago when we had all the COVID games. This is not fun.
This is a toss-up.
Yeah, just flip a coin.
This one kind of sucks. I mean, they burned me last week, but I think I have to take Cleveland because, like you said, pretty much everyone is either out with COVID or they're going to be sitting the starters. And if we're getting Case Keenum instead of Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb might actually run the ball more than just like once.
Did you see that? Oh my God, that stiff arm that he had. I know everybody's been playing the Najee one, but Nick Chubb literally buried a man.
I think I saw a stat that was like, going into the third quarter, he had on every run 10 plus yards, but they weren't giving him the ball enough. They decided they wanted to keep passing the ball or just letting him get sacked. But it was every time Chubb had the ball, he was running for 10 plus yards.
Jesus.
So it was like, they would have won that game if they just kept running the ball.
Even with Keenum, by the way, the Vegas line moved from Cincy -3 to Cleveland -6. So Vegas really likes Cleveland.
I don't think Cleveland's any, I don't like Cleveland's not any good. Obviously, they didn't.
I mean, they're not.
Playoffs.
No, they're not.
But I think it's just a resting game for Cincinnati. Go in the playoffs, see what you guys can do.
I was gonna say, you're not gonna go with your ride or die. This is your team.
Yeah, but I obviously would take them if Joey B and the whole team, other starters are playing.
Well, obviously, but they're not really your ride or die then if you're not taking them when Brandon Allen's at quarterback.
Well, that's if you're gonna see something later on in the stream.
All right, I can't wait. All right, New England visiting Miami. The Dolphins officially eliminated. The Patriots still playing for a potential spot, or the potential division win. Sorry,
and the number one seed still.
That could happen. They need some help, but that could happen if KC and Tennessee both lose.
And Buffalo.
And Buffalo has to lose, yeah. They look great against Jacksonville like they're supposed to, and I think Miami's fully cashed out here. I know Belichick and Brady struggled in the past going into Miami, but this is a new era. This is the mac and cheese Mac Jones era. and he's about to start a dynasty in Miami and own the Dolphins. So Mac Jones, Belichick, potentially locking up the one spot. They're going to be coming out to play here. So I will be taking New England on the road.
Yeah, they did not look great against Tennessee last week, even though they had a really good showing the week prior to that. Against the Saints, putting up 25 points on defense for me to get me into the finals. That was incredible. But then they put up 0 against Tennessee. So I don't think New England and Mac Jones are that great yet, but I feel like this offseason will help them if Damian Harris can not get CTE'd. I imagine they'll be rolling pretty good next season. So I'll be taking New England as well. Miami, just dog water.
Dog water, Miami.
Man, I was riding on Miami for a while there, especially during that win streak. But they laid an absolute turd last week, and now I don't have any faith in them. So we're going with New England.
I think it's hard to bet against Belichick when it's a big time game like this. Like, he's going to have those guys ready to play. Yeah. And to your point, like, the Miami defense was okay, but like PFF still only has them ranked as the 16th best defense. They didn't play anybody during that winning streak. I think that was kind of it like masked how actually good they were. You get to play the Jets twice, and you get to play the Panthers, and you get to play the Giants. Like, it makes you look a lot better than you actually are. And New England, they're definitely a playoff caliber team. All right, on to the next. The Jets visiting Buffalo. That's a big number. Buffalo giving 16.5. The Jets choked away a victory against the Bucs after Antonio Brown decides halftime, or just the middle of the third quarter, is a good time to retire. He was following in Vontae Davis's footsteps when Vontae walked off the field. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
At least he did it during halftime, and he told everybody.
Does that make it better?
Instead of, do I think it's better?
I mean, it's kind of the same, right? You quit on your team in the middle of the game.
Oh, right, sure. It's apples to oranges here. But I'm just saying, at least he like told them instead of just like getting like in an argument with Mike Evans and then just walking off.
Yeah, that was nuts. I mean, that man is something else. So, I still don't think there's any shot that as okay as the Jets have actually looked the last 2 weeks. Maybe actually the last 3 weeks they looked okay against Miami too. Maybe they actually have something here with Zach Wilson, and maybe he's not actually as bad as he kind of looked at the beginning of the year, and he's figuring out the speed of the NFL a little bit. But the Bills need to win to lock up the division. They don't want to have to lose and then have New England win, and then they lose that division championship. So Bills at home. I don't know if I like the number. 16.5 is it's a massive number, but for pick'em purposes, we will be taking the Bills.
Look, I'm just going to say this. Like, the Jets didn't look that bad against Tampa Bay. Even though Tampa Bay was missing a lot of its like weapons, it wasn't missing Tom Brady. So of course, he's able to make that comeback. But I feel like if it's any other team, the Jets could have probably contained it a little bit. Maybe it's still the Jets. Maybe it's still the Jets, but like, they didn't. I was watching most of that game.
Your boy Braxton, though, questionable with a leg injury.
That'll do it then. That'll really sway the Buffalo pick there.
That was going to be real ballsy if you were actually going to pick the Jets. I would have respected that.
I kind of want to be honest. Like, I might change. Like, thinking about it. Why? What are you look? What? Emily's just looking at me. Okay. Apparently, I'm not allowed to pick the Jets here. I have to pick Buffalo.
Thank you for being the level-headed one, Emily.
If this is the upset of the week, I'm going to be so mad.
All right, so I'm just gonna talk about a little bit what Rain was talking about a minute ago. Like Zach Wilson's looking better. You know, the speed of the game's slowing down for him. That's good for the Jets. Like maybe they have a quarterback of the future, and I do say that tentatively, maybe, but that's good news for them. But Buffalo's still gonna kick their ass. So
You always bait me with like I think you might just do it. You're like, that son of a bitch might just be crazy enough to do it, and then you bait me the other way.
Look, man, that's part of my character. All right.
Yeah, I like it. That's part of the shtick. I get it. All right, Carolina going to visit the Tampa Bucks or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The Tampa
Bucks.
It's the Tampa Bay Tom Brady's.
Yeah.
At this point,
the Bucks are playing for that 2 spot and home field for 2 games since the Packers locked up the 1 spot. So this is an important game for them. They are decimated with receiver injuries. I mean, Mike Evans is always questionable. He should play, but they have not a lot of options left. This team's going to the playoffs, but I don't know. It's hard to bet against Tom, but I don't know how deep they can go without Godwin at this point. And Tom has not looked as great in 2 of the last 3 games. He did not look good against the Saints. He did not look great for a lot of that game against the Jets. With that said, it's Carolina, and Carolina's fucking terrible. So
yeah, I mean, whether they play Darnold or Cam, like they played them 2 weeks ago and they lost 32-6.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll be taking the Tampa Brady's here.
Like, I feel like the Jets and Carolina have like the largest chance for upsets, but it's like even with Tampa missing a lot of their targets, like it's still Brady. So
never bet against touchdown Tom.
He can get everyone. Yeah, he can get everyone. So you guys have done that once this season, and it backfired on you. So
yeah, this is why the Antonio Brown thing is fucking nuts to me, because Godwin goes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
All they have is Evans, and he's been banged up. Like, dude, you could be getting the ball thrown to you exclusively.
Yeah.
You know?
You can hit all of those bonuses in your contract.
Yeah. And so that's just mind-boggling to me.
This can be a big game for Perriman.
But with that said, I think Tampa's too good, like, just better than Carolina, and I mean, I don't know what Carolina's gonna do, but they just don't win.
Did we see if Ronald Jones was seriously hurt? Because I know he came out of that game.
I think they said Le'Veon Bell was slated to start.
Okay. I still don't think it matters, but I was just curious. It's the Ty Johnson, Brashad Perriman, Cam Brate, and Gronk game. That's what's gonna happen here. Yep. And Lev Bell reignites his career against the Panthers in week 18. All right. We've been in lockstep for a lot of these picks here. Makes me nervous. It makes me very nervous. It means all of us are getting everything wrong.
For you two, it literally comes down, unless these 4 games are different, it's going to come down to the Chicago-Minnesota game.
Is that the only thing we've picked differently so far? It is. Wow.
Yep.
Relying on the Bears to win you sushi.
Relying on the Bears to win.
Well, we'll see what happens with this one. We got New Orleans visiting Atlanta. New Orleans, they got a win against the Panthers, but with Taysom coming back, but they still really cannot move the ball and can't score. You'd think they'd be better with Kamara, even though, you know, it's Taysom. But Falcons have not been terrible. They are basically a 500 team with the extra week. You know, you can't go 500 anymore unless you tie. So it's a little goofy, but New Orleans going to Atlanta, they are giving points, but I think Cordell Patterson is set to upset the world. Matt Ryan, could this be his last year in Atlanta? They definitely need an upgrade at quarterback. I think at home, they go out with a big upset win against New Orleans, and this ends Sean Payton's tenure there, and he becomes the next Bears head coach. How about that?
Let's go.
I was kind of leaning the same way, to be honest. I see this kind of, like you said, last home game. Matt Ryan's probably out the door. I don't see him staying with the Falcons. It's gonna be, just one big old banger. It's gonna be a shootout, I imagine.
A shootout with the Saints? Can they score?
I mean,
against
the Falcons defense, probably.
Maybe, yeah, that's true.
A shootout of one touchdown each. I don't know. It's I'm taking Atlanta on this one as well.
Dissension is not among us. Atlanta.
When was the last time we all picked Atlanta? That feels dirty.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, that feels really terrible.
I picked Atlanta more than you guys this year.
I think that's paid off for you. You've gotten it right a lot of the time, I feel like.
Yeah.
Bird teams, man. Bird teams. It's all about bird teams.
Bird teams.
Oh, we did in week 12. They played Jacksonville.
Oh, well, I don't think that counts.
So...
When they play against a real NFL team, have we picked them all at the same time? I don't think we have. Speaking
Bryce
of,
picked them against Carolina, and we both picked Carolina.
Yeah, cat team let us down.
Yeah, it's the cat team let us down. Yeah.
Speaking of bird teams, we have a matchup of bird teams here. Seattle coming off an offensive explosion, dropping 51 on the Lions, and Arizona coming off a very important win for them because it keeps them in the hunt for the division. If LA loses against San Fran, that can make things very interesting there. So the Seahawks are not a good team. The Cardinals have been disappointing up until last week, and they definitely need to win because I think they would like to lock up the division there. I will be taking Arizona. I don't think there's a ton that Seattle can do. They had their explosion, and DK was resurrected, and Russ started cooking a little bit, and Rashad Penny didn't get hurt somehow because he always gets hurt. But I think that was the magic all being used up in one go, and I will be taking the Cardinals.
Oh
yeah, I don't trust the Seahawks. I mean, Rashad Penny looked great last week. Should have played him. Didn't. That's okay. But Arizona seems to be kind of jumping maybe a little bit out of their funk, and their defense is like 10 times as much better compared to the Detroit defense. So
I think there's a chance Connor comes back this week too, which they could really use him back.
Think so, yeah.
Even though Edmonds has actually looked really good.
He did. Yeah, he was fine last week. Watching that game, nothing too impressive, but nothing like it was just, he was just average. They didn't really run the ball a whole lot because they didn't need to. So
Mr. Drizzle.
Man. So I know who Derek's gonna pick next on the next game. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? We're just doing it. That was my gut. Seattle, an upset.
Whoa.
Okay.
I like how you yelled dissension is not among us for the last one, but you didn't actually yell it for the one that was actually surprising.
All right. You want rewind?
Yeah.
Rewind.
Go ahead.
Dissension is among us. Seattle in the upset of the day by 10 points.
Oh my God.
10 points. Okay. All right.
He's lost it.
I am going nuts, boys.
By 10. Oh my God. All right. I feel like Seattle has let us down more than they have supported us this year. So that's interesting. I like the ballsiness though. All right. Yeah, this is Derek. Take it away. This is your 49ers.
So Shanahan has decided he's not going to announce who the starting quarterback is until game time for a competitive advantage.
Is he learning from Matt Nagy?
Maybe. If it's Trey Lance, he looked fine in the second half last week. He did not start great. You could tell he was still trying to figure some things out, but he came out and figured it out in the second half, gave Debo the ball a lot. That's really all you got to do is give the ball to Debo. George Kittle only had one reception and one pass. He only saw the ball once. So that's a little concerning, I think, for Kittle owners moving forward. If you're thinking he's going to have another good year next year, if Lance is starting, there's a chance. I don't know what it is, but Trey's not a big fan of tight ends. I think Jimmy's getting the start. He was at practice today, and he was apparently fine. The issue I have is that like our defense is really good, but I think the Rams will know how to target where the holes are. And if they put Cooper Kupp up against Norman, I don't think Cooper's gonna have any trouble getting into the end zone because that dude can't play safety to save his life or whatever. I can't remember what his actual
corner
spot is, but corner. Sorry. And that's where I am kind of struggling here because I feel like this is a game that they're going to be playing their hearts out for because this will put them in the playoffs if they win.
Right, because if they lose and New Orleans wins, New Orleans hops them, right? And then they don't make the playoffs.
And then they don't make the playoffs, which like it's difficult to say. I think I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to go with San Fran, obviously. Bryce is right. There really is no reason for me to not pick against them, to be honest. And I really hope that they can pull it out and make the playoffs off this one. There was a stat that I was just reading that I have lost it, but I should have saved it. But I guess it was something Matt Stafford, after his pick six last game, is now 4th in the NFL for the amount of pick sixes compared to amount of touchdowns. With Matt's pick six this week, moves into a tie for the 4th most pick sixes all time and remains 2nd all time in pick six efficiency. So
good. That's a good leading point to what I'm going to tell you is he's going to throw another one, but they're still going to win the game.
Yeah, I seem to be having this weird thing where that's going to be another game where he does that because it wouldn't be his first game, and there was a few other quarterbacks that did this year as well, where wasn't it Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions and they still won.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I could see that happening.
All right. I guess it's up to me to break the tie between you two. I definitely struggled with this one. This is probably one of the harder games on the slate since both teams have a lot to play for, specifically San Fran. They control their destiny. If they win, they're in. That's really all there is to that. And if they don't win, then hopefully we're all right and Atlanta wins and they can back into the playoffs. I think another week removed from being hurt, Eli Mitchell will look a little bit better and Jimmy should be back and Shanahan can kind of run the offense he wants to run. And I honestly don't know if the Rams have an answer for Debo. Because the way that he plays and how he's used all over the field, it's not like they can just throw Jalen Ramsey on him and let him shadow. I think they can still manufacture touches for Debo. And I know you were saying that Lance doesn't like Kittle, but it's such a small sample size.
Yeah,
it's tough to just say that. And Baltimore, their corners are bad, so they probably just bracket covered Kittle and just said beat us elsewhere. Houston probably said just beat us elsewhere. The 49ers are 5-3 on the road this year. So they're not a bad road team. I think they go into LA here and they control their destiny and they come out with a win. So I'm putting the vibes out for you, so you don't have to worry about what happens in the Atlanta game. You just all that needs to happen is you get that win because they play at the same time. So it's not like San Fran can scoreboard watch They have to play like New Orleans is going to win.
Yeah.
And while LA could potentially they lock up the 2 already, right? Who else is in the Dallas can lock up the 2 if the Rams lose. So they have some stuff to play for, but yeah, I like San Fran here.
Well, they didn't even lock up the division yet. So if they lose and Arizona wins, it swaps.
Right, but they both locked up playoff spots. The Rams and Arizona is what I meant.
And it just depends on who will be at home and who will be on the road.
Correct.
Right.
All right, it'll be a fun Sunday night game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Monday night.
It's a big Monday night game.
The Chargers visiting the Raiders. I got burned by the Raiders last week. They're a terrible team, but they have 9 wins somehow, and I just hate every piece of that. The Chargers have the same record, but I think are a much better team overall, even though they can't stop the run. Here's a fun little snippet for you. I don't know if you guys have seen this floating around. If Indy loses to Jacksonville, the Chargers and Raiders can opt to tie and not take the field. Oh, the Chargers are Sunday night? The Chargers are Sunday night. I apologize.
Oh yeah, no,
there is no Monday night game. This is the Sunday night game.
Everything is on Sunday.
I know.
There's a doubleheader on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm all thrown off with the no Thursday, no Monday thing this week. So yeah, if Indy loses, the Chargers and Raiders can basically opt out of playing and tie, and they both make the playoffs.
Why would they do that? Would they do that?
I don't know. I don't think they would.
I don't think I've ever seen that. Has that ever happened?
What would be crazier, that or what Antonio Brown did this past weekend?
Definitely the teams opting to not play. That would be insane. But that would be...
I could see if like all of a sudden tomorrow just COVID runs rampant on both their teams, and so like they do tell or talk to each other.
Antonio Brown was expected,
and we're like, all right, if this does happen, we're just gonna take the tie.
He made it so long with like somewhat minimal shit. Obviously the fake COVID thing was crazy with the potential fake COVID card, or I guess confirmed fake COVID card. But I guess we just didn't see the big blow up this year, and this was it. We should have seen it coming.
That's what makes it great.
Let's talk about this game. Yeah, I can't believe the Raiders beat the Colts last week. That was so shocking to me. Clearly not to you guys, since you guys both got that right. This is obviously a divisional game. Chargers going to Vegas can be a distracting place to play for young teams. But with that said, I'm just going to take the better quarterback here, and I will be taking the Chargers. I think Austin Eckler and Herbert are just the weapons that they have are just going to be too much for the Raiders defense. So I'll be taking the Chargers, getting a win here.
Yeah, I mean, barring any more COVID exclusions, I feel like this has a Chargers win written all over it. If they're going to have everyone back and healthy.
J-Herb, baby, J-Herb.
Dissension is among us.
God damn it.
Another one.
I
mean, it's going to be interesting for you guys. I was going to say, like, if you guys kept it the same going through, like, you guys would have to pick, like, either Minnesota or Chicago as your locks, but now Bryce is out here making the entire back half of games.
I'll tell you why I'm picking the Raiders.
Why?
I think it's more about the Chargers, and I think they don't play well on Sunday night, and that's how the Raiders get in the playoffs.
I like that analysis.
I like it. It's good analysis.
It's a gut feeling analysis. That's the best kind.
Yes, sir.
They're doing it for John.
See? I didn't even think about that. Boom, big.
Doing 100%. It for
100%.
John. They're gonna roll a turducken out there. And they're doing it for John. With that said, I think you're wrong. And the Chargers are the better team. Okay. We'll see what happens. This actually makes things really interesting now because we have different picks for the last 3 games of the slate. And then we also differ on the Chicago game. With us being tied, that's a big swing. We're going to not end in a tie no matter what happens.
I'll be honest with you. if
why is that? Who did that? Why is that yellow?
I'm changing it to yellow. These are the games that I'm gonna highlight the different.
I mean, you can still win too. It's not just just all the.
No, I'm going through and just getting all of the defers. These are the games that we're gonna be really paying attention to.
What I was gonna say is, I think if we were ending it for a little bet on this week, I might have not taken Seattle, but
don't worry about the Detroit pick. All right, Rodgers is going to play 2 series.
15-0.
Don't worry about
15-0 this week, whatever it is.
16.
16. There we go.
No bye weeks in the last week of the year. All right, you guys got your locks ready?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to take a team that I don't think I've taken. Let me just do a quick little scan here. Bryce has taken them once, but I have not. And when Bryce took them, they lost. That broke his streak. So I'm going to make sure they keep my streak alive and take Washington.
Okay. It's probably a safe bet considering the Giants suck ass.
Yeah, I got some ground to make up, so I'm hoping.
I need to look at mine real quick.
Take this one a little seriously.
I need to look at mine real quick because I am not sure. Okay, I'm good. I will be taking.
Honestly, before you say it, since we're going to continue our record into the playoffs and add those games in, it would make sense for you both to pick a game where one of you dissented.
Yeah, that's why I did this.
Close. Okay, perfect. But now I'm saying is Rain should take the Chargers as his pick, unless he has already taken the Chargers, which I don't think you have.
I have not. I wasn't going to do that. I was going to play it safe just to make sure I get the point. But now I kind of want to.
There's no fun in that.
So I am going to lock in the Vikings.
The Vikings. Okay, there you go.
Just because I want to double rub it in, because I know, though.
Hey, I'm just saying, if Chicago pulls out the win and the Raiders win, that's a huge
swing.
That's a big swing. That is, yeah.
That's the risk
swing. You got to take.
But the same could be said if Minnesota wins and the Chargers win.
Right. Yep. You're not wrong. That's how those things work.
Yeah, it is. That is how math works.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is it. This is week 18. We are going to do the playoff thing, but we're not going to do a show every week for the playoffs. We'll probably do one.
We'll do it next week.
We'll do it next week, and then I'll probably just post the results on Twitter or something. I don't think we'll do an end of year show or anything.
What if we do a show next week and then come back at the Super Bowl and recap the playoffs?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that we do a show before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and then maybe we don't pick the Super Bowl, or do you want to pick the Super Bowl, or just kind of?
Well, we need to still decide on format. So yeah, I think doing it bracket like NCAA style with points per round wins will probably be the best way, and we can just add that to our win totals here. And I think that'll probably be the easiest way and the fairest way to do the playoff section. But this was a lot of fun. This is the first time I've done something like this. So I had fun talking football with you guys every week, and big things coming. It's not ready to be unveiled yet. I'm working on some new stuff for the show next year, but we have 8 months to develop that. But
I'll give a little hint. Face cam.
Face cam.
Someone...
Unfortunately,
someone might have a new camera.
Unfortunately, Bryce's physique is not completely accurate in that picture, but it's close.
Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah, right. It's close.
We're gonna get a green screen suit for Bryce, and he's just gonna put his face overlaid over that.
But yeah, we'll have a name for this coming soon. I'll probably just show off the new overlay and some of the new graphics in an upcoming regular stream. Maybe for the Super Bowl stream, actually. We'll unveil everything. I also want coming next year. I also want to make the locks a little bit spicier, if you will, where if you lose your lock, you got to do like a last dab or something raw.
Oh boy! All right. Well,
so for the next week, you got to last dab it.
Technically,
real quick. Let me just
technically that would be bad for you guys because I've had the most locks this year.
Well, I was also thinking then if you get yours, right, I saw it real quick there.
Yeah, it popped up for a little bit there.
If we all get it right, then none of us have to do it. But if one person gets it wrong and the others get it right, they get to give their last dabs to the person who got it wrong.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
I think
boy is right.
So we'll see. I want to just spice it up a little bit, and we might involve over-unders and spreads a little bit more in the 2022 shows. But we will be starting week 1 for next year's. So that's really all I've got to say. I just appreciate you guys doing this with me. It's been a lot of fun.
I appreciate you bringing me along for the ride. It's been a lot of fun.
Any other parting words here?
The next season will be fantastic, and some of the content that Rain has planned with us, it'll be a good year. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your grandma. Follow Rain Games.
Especially tell Antonio Brown.
Yeah. Let's get Antonio Brown on as a guest. You think you do You think you do a last dab with us?
He's gonna talk a lot of crypto and NFTs though.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to see him do last dab.
All right.
But that's the show, everybody. Thank you all for watching and hanging out in chat, and you guys participating as always. So we'll be back next week for the playoff show, and then we'll have a nice little break and let our brains reset until about 8 months from now when we kick this all off again.
Looking forward to it.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, gentlemen. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.